Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Corey Hennessy, and in this video, I'm going to go through all the different formats when it comes to lead gen. And mainly, we're going to be looking at lead forms versus landing page forms or landing page surveys, and going over why you would want to use one over the other, what has its pros, what has its cons, and let you basically choose which one is going to suit your business a lot more, or if you're a real estate agent, which one will work best for you. So, I have a few slides to go through in this Miro. We're going to start with the landing page forms. So a landing page form is a landing page that you're going to build in GoHighLevel or on your website. And this is going to be a form that somebody fills in similar to this. So on our own website, we'd have a contact form. You can ask more questions using this. You can have a lot more information. You can ask for more information from the person that's on the page. And with that, people manually have to fill it in. It's not something that's automatically going to fill. So the quality is going to be much better when it comes to a landing page form. Now, a form can be overwhelming, and what I recommend to most of our clients, and this is actually a client landing page that we built, is we will actually use a survey. So a survey means that the person's being asked one question at a time. It's a lot less daunting. It's a lot less kind of intrusive on the person that's filling in the form. And we've found the conversion rate is a lot higher when you use a survey because you're asking it in intervals of one question at a time. And once they go through those questions, if they've already answered two or three, they're going to continue until they complete the form. This is very different with a form like this. So compared to a survey, with a form like this, you see all of the questions up front. There might be a question that turns the person away at the very beginning, just at a glance. And to avoid that, it's much better to use a survey. Now, you can still use forms if you're just using it on your contact page or anything else, but I don't recommend using a form on a landing page. I highly recommend using a survey. This is one built on GoHighLevel, but you can use a survey built on Typeform or any other survey platform to mainly select and collect those leads individually and get them from those platforms. It's going to increase the conversion rate a lot more. So if you are using a form, I recommend switching to a survey as soon as possible. Now, if we look at the points that I put down, so the user intent on a landing page form is active search. So the intent of that person searching on Google or whatever platform that they come across, they're actively looking for your help. So they're looking for that specific thing. So if you're a real estate agent in Dallas or you're a brokerage in Texas, overall, it means when they search up for that, looking for brokerages near me or brokerages in Dallas, when they go to your page, they already have the intent of that's what they're looking for. When it comes to the intent on lead forms or on Facebook or social media, that person's just browsing. They're not actually searching for your help right now. Now, they will have an interest in it, but they're not actively searching. So the intent straight away is much lower. The key advantage is you have full control, so you can put a lot more information, you can put a lot more introduction, you can have more text, more images, more trust on a landing page compared to your advertising on social. So if you're just running advertising on social, you don't really get a chance to explain what you do or how you'll help the person. Maybe if you're running a video ad, you can explain it a little bit, but you're not going to get as much information across as you can on a landing page or a lead form. The lead quality, you're going to have lower volume, so there'll be a lot less lower volume of the leads, so you'll be getting less leads. They probably cost a little bit more, but the quality most often is going to be much higher than if you're running lead form ads. Now, this is something that you constantly need to test because you could get leads at a higher cost and they still could not convert. So you're paying more for those leads, even though they're higher quality, but maybe your sales funnel takes a long time or your sales process takes a long time and those leads are not converting. That's going to eat into your budget that you're spending on advertising. And instead, you might not actually make a profit from your budget that you're running on those platforms. Now, with meta ads or with social ads, you'll actually get a lot more volume, and sometimes that can outperform a lead form or a landing page that people go to just because you're going to get a lot more volume. And maybe even if 1 in 10 leads on Meta is good, that might still be cheaper than going to a landing page. So you really need to test it too. This video is just me going over the pros and cons of each one, but you really need to test both on your business and on your system. And what I've noticed is in the long run, when you're making more money or you have more money to spend, a landing page will always outperform Facebook, but I would never completely turn off Facebook or Instagram or Meta advertising because, like I said, it's much cheaper. You're going to get a lot more volume, and also you'll get a lot more traffic and just brand awareness from running on social media compared to Google and any other platform where you're paying for search. Now, as mentioned, it's best for complex offers. So if your offer is pretty complex, or maybe you have a specific system that you do in real estate, or you have a specific system that works in your business or offer, it makes a lot more sense to send those people to a landing page, because like I said, you can explain a lot more, you can give a lot more information, and you can put more information on that page, or have a VSL, so a video sales letter, or video sales video, where people can land and they're going to be able to watch that video to get a lot more information. It's what we actually have on our old landing page, so we don't use this one anymore. But this landing page has a video, it explains a lot more, it gives people a lot more information. And we try to do this for all of our clients. I try to do this for all of my clients, to implement a video just explaining your offer, make it 3 to 5 minutes long, give as much information as possible. And that means if somebody has already searched for what you're doing, they're going to get a lot more information here. They're going to see all of the testimonials, all of the results that you have, and it's going to make it a lot more likely that they will convert into a booked call, or they're going to complete a survey or a lead form. So it allows you to do that when you have a landing page. You can't really do it when you're accepting a lead form. Now, the cost, it's much higher. Your cost per lead doing lead forms is going to be a lot higher. Landing page forms is going to be a lot higher compared to lead forms on Meta or Instagram. So it's something to keep in mind. And like I said, it really comes down to budget. So when we start working with a client, we always start with meta advertising, because it's a lot cheaper. You're going to get volume of leads. You're going to have a lot more leads to work with, and you'll still get leads that can convert, that will convert. It's not a matter of the quality is abysmal and you'll never get work from it. You'll still get work from Meta. And if your budget is below $30 a day, I recommend just sticking with Meta advertising. If your budget's above $30 and you can spend around $2,000 per month, I highly recommend adding in some Google advertising, some search, and sending that traffic to a landing page, because that will allow you to test which platform is getting you not only the best leads, but the leads that are actually converting into booked calls and sales or listings. Whatever it is that your business is optimizing for, or you're optimizing for, you'll be able to test and see what's actually getting you the best result business wise. So your KPI is not just the cost per lead, which is a metric a lot of people focus on. What's the cheapest cost per lead, or what's the cheapest result they can get? More often than not, the cheapest lead isn't going to be the lead that actually buys something. So don't focus all of your advertising on the cost per lead. Sometimes it's worth paying way more for a lead if it's going to turn into a sale. So that's the kind of overall on a landing page form. I recommend it if you have more budget to spend, you want higher intent. If your meta advertising is just not bringing any good quality, I recommend just transferring all of your budget into Google Ads and sending them to a landing page similar to the one I showed, or the client one that I showed also, which is here, which has a survey. It breaks down what you do, it gets your offer across really quickly. All of that needs to be put on a landing page, and you're going to get leads a lot easier on a landing page that will be higher quality. Now, let's take a look at meta forms. So before we look at meta forms, I'll show you what they look like in case you've never seen one. So these are ones that we run on Facebook. These are for us reaching out to brokerages. We're running ads for brokerages and home services. And what we check is we ask questions within the platform. So you'll see this is the introduction. It has the video behind which the people would have clicked on. They went through and they land on the lead form then, which is still inside of Meta and Facebook. That's a huge factor. So the person does not have to leave the platform. They don't go anywhere. They don't exit. And the trade-off with this is people can do it while they're just casually browsing, or they're not really serious because they're not even waiting for a landing page to load. Instead, they're just clicking and they can automatically fill this in. So all they need to do is complete these questions. Our questions, for example, are what is your current annual revenue? Do you currently run paid advertising? Yes, no, no, but I'm willing to. So we have a bunch of filtering questions, and you can add these in. With meta advertising, you need a lot more questions than you would need on a landing page to really improve the quality, because with this, they will have to manually answer these questions. So they still manually have to fill in these questions that we add, but all of the other information is auto-filled. So their name, phone number, email is automatically filled in. Now, this increases your conversion because they don't have to fill in as much information. It's a lot easier to complete. And if your offer is really simple, like maybe you're just doing listings, or maybe you're just looking to purchase homes and you're finding that you want more volume, this is the best way to go. It's going to be a lot cheaper. You'll have to filter through a lot more leads, but you will get a lot more volume than you will through search, and it's going to be a lot cheaper than running search campaigns on Google to a landing page. Now, with that being said, the quality is going to be a lot worse with the stuff being auto-filled, with the questions being so easy, with the people not having to leave the platform. That's what makes Facebook advertising a lot worse quality than Google search. And even if you add some more questions and try to filter it more, it will still be lower quality than Google. Now, there are some features on Meta lead forms that have been added. There is the option to have people manually verify, where they will need to actually swipe across to verify. I highly recommend turning that on after you've been running more volume leads for a while, so you'll have an option to run for volume. I always recommend starting with that, then turn on that they need to verify before it will come true, so they need to swipe across. And then if you're still getting a lot of leads, maybe you have the best offer in the world, or maybe you just want to filter out leads a lot more, you can actually add a one-time passcode, so OTP verification, which means they will get an SMS before they can submit. Now, we don't use this for any clients, because what I've noticed is if you're on social, just the nature of Facebook and Instagram, nobody is really going to wait for an SMS to come through with an OTP code to then submit a form. I think it's really it just puts people off. They're not going to fill in the form, and you're going to lose leads, and you're going to be paying a lot more. And I've heard from a lot of other people that have been running OTP, and even us trying it in the past, that it's just not worth it. You lose a lot more than you gain. And it's much better with a system like GoHighLevel to bring those leads in and filter them yourself with your team, your sales team, using AI, using the conversational AI, and filtering those leads yourself within the platform and finding out which ones are good quality than turning them away. So that's some options that you have to increase the quality. You can also ask more questions, as I mentioned. I would never run a Facebook lead form with less than three questions, but even then, we've gotten cost per leads of $2, $3 with 3 and 4 questions. It really just depends on your targeting. But if we take a look at the meta lead form breakdown that I put here, the user intent, they're browsing social. As I mentioned, the intent is way lower, because this person is just browsing online. They're not actually searching for what you're selling. They're just browsing. They maybe have an interest, and obviously if you're using interest targeting of housing in Florida, that person is probably actively searching on housing platforms, housing groups. They're probably texting people about housing, and Facebook can use all of that information to get your advertisement in front of that person. So you're showing up in front of them while they're browsing. They're not necessarily looking for your company or looking for help right now, but at least you're showing up in front of that person when they are actively interested in it. So they're not searching, but they are interested in what you sell. The advantage, and this is the huge benefit of meta advertising, is the low friction. It's so easy to collect leads. It's super easy for people to use. Anybody, we have leads up till 90 years old. We have old people that are filling in forms. We have young people filling in forms. It's super intuitive. It's super easy to complete a lead form on Facebook and Instagram. And that's why it's so easy to collect leads on the platform. Now, will you need to clean them up a lot more? Yes, you will, because with the lead quality, it will be a lot higher volume. So you are getting a lot of volume, you're getting a lot of leads. Some of our clients are getting 50 leads per day. They need a lot of automation to clean that out. So you need a lot of chatbots, AI, which GoHighLevel can do. I have a bunch of videos on that. So you can just take in these leads and clean them up using your automations. You don't have to do it with the lead form. Now, is it more work? Yes. I recommend always, as I said, having 3 questions. So the quality is somewhat good, even if it's not the best. People are still giving you somewhat information, and you're using conditional formatting to refuse people that are just underneath the budget that you have, or maybe they're underneath the timeline. Maybe they want something in 12 months. You can turn on conditional formatting in meta advertising in your lead form to not allow those people through. So that's going to train the algorithm to not allow those people through and look for the better people. Now, with the higher volume, as I mentioned, if you're cleaning them using the AI, if you're cleaning them using your team on the actual GoHighLevel, so people messaging, SMSing, following up with leads maybe before you even call them, that's going to allow you to really take advantage of how cheap meta advertising is compared to Google. Now, that system is what I mentioned at the beginning, is what we recommend for everybody starting out. So if you're starting out, and if you have a budget, if you're a solo realtor and you have a budget of $500, stick with meta advertising. Don't go near Google. Don't start advertising on Google at all. Then when you have more money and you have more budget, go to Google also. If you're a service-based business, it's very different. I highly recommend doing a 50-50 split between Facebook and Google, so Facebook, Instagram, and Google advertising, because if somebody is looking for a service, more often than not, they're going to be on Google, but you still need to have the budget to afford that. So if you're a service business, make sure you have around $2,000, 1,000 on Meta, 1,000 on Google. That's what I recommend for everybody. And then if you go above that even further, you can start to do YouTube advertising, which works really well too. But even then, I'd recommend having an extra $500 just to spend on your YouTube videos, and they're going to bring in clients also in the same way Facebook does, but you'll get a much cheaper cost per view on YouTube. As I mentioned here, it's best for volume, and the cost, it's going to be the lowest cost per lead compared to all the other advertising platforms. This is where you'll get the lowest cost overall. So, as I mentioned, I highly recommend meta advertising if you are a small realtor, if you're a real estate brokerage and you just want volume. If your business makes sense to use meta advertising, which I think everybody should be using it no matter what spend you're doing, it should always be running in the background, even if you're spending 20% of your budget on Meta, 80% on Google, or if it's the other way around, you're spending 80% on Meta and then you're spending 20% on Google. There's ways to use both, and it all comes down to testing out your filtering, testing out your systems of collecting volume, and optimizing both platforms in a way that they're working together. So all of our clients at a certain point will have Google advertising going to a landing page, or they'll have meta advertising going to a lead form. And then in the future, you can even do meta advertising going to the same landing page. So you can send your meta advertising directly to this same landing page. So they'll go to the same page, they'll get that extra information we spoke about. So they're already becoming higher quality leads. They're already have better intent because they've waited for the page to load. And then they've already completed your form, and that's being fed back to your pixel. So in the long run, that's what you're going to want to start to transition into, is your meta advertising going to the same landing page, your Google advertising going to the same landing page. And it's going to allow you to do a lot more stuff in terms of tracking. You're going to be able to track the pages that they go to in your GoHighLevel. You're going to be able to track in your analytics where they're coming from, what states, what cities. All of that information will be on your website. Whereas with the lead form, all you can do is retarget the people that have opened it. With your website, you can actually retarget a lot more when it comes to the website traffic from those clicks coming across. So hopefully that was enjoyable. Hopefully it kind of cleared up the two options. Meta lead forms, best for volume, cheapest cost. Landing page forms, much higher quality, much higher intent, much higher cost. And that's the two differences. It's going to come down to you testing which works best for you. But if you're watching and you have a budget below $1,000, stick to Facebook advertising, Meta, Google, Meta, Instagram. Those platforms are going to work a lot better for you. You're going to get a lot more volume of lead. You're going to get better results. And when you're making money from Meta, that's when you can step up and start to invest into your Google ads and start to bring in stuff from Google. But depending on if you're a realtor, maybe you won't even need to do Google advertising. It might not even be something that you'd want to do. So hopefully that was enjoyable. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, make sure to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. I plan on making a lot more breakdown videos like this, and I am working on a Skool community where we'll be doing weekly calls with everybody. So I'll go through people's ads, I'll go through everything else. So I'll make sure to keep you guys updated on that, and I'll make a video on it, I'm sure, once it's live, to get people in, and hopefully we have a mentorship kind of program where we'll go through your advertising. I'll check everything that you're running, give you feedback, and create a kind of community where we can all help each other. So really appreciate you watching. Leave a comment down below if you have a question. Make sure to leave a like on the video, and as I mentioned, subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers this year with the content, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.